Hi everyone, it's Andrea from Movers and Bakers. After a little bit of time off YouTube, I'm back, and today I'm going to share with you how I make my delicious lemon shortbread. This is a beautiful, zesty, buttery shortbread dipped in a tangy lemon glaze. Let's get baking. So to start with, we are going to do our lemons and sugar. Now, I like to put my sugar and lemons and mix them up together first, just because that's going to get lots of the lovely lemon flavor into my bake. So into my mixing bowl, I have some caster sugar here. And into the bowl, I'm going to zest 2 lemons. Now, we're not going to use any of the juice of the lemons in the shortbread. This is going to be flavored purely by the zest of the lemons. So you zest them directly into the bowl. And this is really important, zesting it directly in, because as you zest, you're not just getting the skin off the lemons, but actually you're also releasing some of the oils from the skin of the fruit. So zesting it directly into the bowl means all the oils that come off go in with your bake as well, giving you lots of lovely extra flavor. So once you are done with zesting your lemons, don't forget to get all that lovely zest off the back of your zester too. We want all that flavor going into our shortbread. So now that I've got my lemon zest and my sugar in here, I'm going to give this a mix together. You can get stuck in absolutely with your hands if that's what you want, but I'm going to use a hand mixer today. So this is all being mixed together so that all the lovely flavors from the lemon get dispersed all the way through into my sugar, so I get lots of lovely zingy flavor. Once you are done, after a couple of minutes of mixing, you will find that your sugar has gone a little bit more yellow and has absorbed some of the color and the flavor of your lemons. That's exactly what we want. So now to my lemon sugar, I'm going to add in some butter. This is just normal unsalted butter cut into cubes, and it is at room temperature. So you want it soft enough that it's going to mix through with the sugar. So we're going to pop this in and mix it all together. Once your butter and sugar are completely combined and nice and soft, we're going to add into this mixture our flour. Now it's just plain flour. There is nothing special about it, just your regular plain all-purpose flour that has been sifted and ready to go. So I'm going to tip that into my bowl and we mix again. So once your mixture has started clumping together like this, that is exactly where we want to stop. That is perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my beater aside. So now this is all coming together. I'm just going to squish it all together into one big dough, and then we are ready to start rolling out. Tip this out onto my work surface, and then I'm going to use my hands to squeeze all the dough together and bring it together as one. You want to give it a little bit of a knead just to make sure it's all nice and smooth. We are going to squeeze it all together and flatten it roughly into a bit of a rectangle, as I have here. We're going to start rolling. So I'm going to use a little bit of flour on my work surface. This is to stop the dough from sticking. So a little bit of flour, pop my dough down, a little bit more flour on top to stop my rolling pin from sticking to the top of the dough. And then we get rolling. Now you want this to be roughly about ½ an inch thick. So as you're rolling, you want to make sure that your dough isn't sticking to your surface. So you're just going to turn it 90 degrees every few rolls, just to make sure that it's not stuck. And it also means you're rolling nice and evenly. If you wish, you can even flip it, because sometimes I find, as you can see here, the underneath can crack where the top hadn't. So I'll squish everything back together again, and that's just going to help me get rid of those cracks before I continue my rolling. Now it's time to cut our dough. Now you can use a knife and cut it into rectangles, which is exactly what I'm going to do today, or you can use a cookie cutter if you prefer. Just keep in mind, depending on the size that you decide to cut your shortbread out, it will affect your bake time. So today I'm going to use a ruler to measure out my rectangle shortbreads, and I'm going to make them 1.5 inches by 3 inches in size. As you are cutting out your shortbread, onto a baking tray. Mine is lined with parchment paper, and these are going to get laid on my parchment, and that is all going to get filled, and then I'm going to chill that for 30 minutes before I bake these shortbread cookies. You will have some scraps left over. All you need to do with this is squeeze it all back together and re-roll until you've used up all your dough. So once your dough has chilled for about 30 minutes, it's time to get baking. Preheat your oven to 180 Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit and bake the biscuits for about 8 to 10 minutes until the top is no longer shiny, it's gone matte, and they are baked through. So once your biscuits are baked and out of the oven, make sure you leave them to cool completely before you do the glaze. Now the glaze is so simple. It is literally icing sugar and as much lemon juice as you want to make it the consistency you want it to be. I like my icing quite thick, so I'm going to put less lemon juice in, but if you want it to be runnier, by all means add a little bit more too. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can either dip one corner of your biscuit into the glaze, or you can put all your biscuits out on a cooling rack and then drizzle over the top with a spoon. As a final finishing touch, I like to zest a little bit of extra lemon over the top, just because it adds a little pop of colour and it makes it look extra pretty. And there you have it, lemon shortbread biscuits. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe if you have, and do let me know below 2 things. 1, if you bake these, and 2, what else you would like to see. See you next time, friends. Happy baking.